everybody. I'm so glad to be with you. Feel free to join me singing along if you would like. Hello, MOShniks. Thank you all for coming tonight. This idea was sparked actually through connecting with Reb DDK and a couple other folks who had some very naturally curious questions about my life, and I was like, why don't we actually make a whole evening about it? Why don't we gather and I'll share, because I serenade you all in services and in our prayerful gathering, but it makes sense that you're like, who's this mystery human who's joined us in the past year? So very grateful that you're here tonight. And I'll pass it over to Rabbi Mark.
Welcome, everyone, and welcome to those of you who are exhausted from coming. You can't hear me, Dan?
Your sound is a lot quieter than Rena's.
How about now? Is that better? Okay, get thumbs up. I'll start all over. Welcome, everybody, and welcome to those of you who have returned home happy and exhausted from Ohala, the rabbinical convention for unconventional rabbis, chazanim, and spiritual directors and chaplains. And it's just wonderful to be here this evening and have an opportunity to get to know Rena Branson. And I will be revealing my part in the getting to know Rena Branson as well. And I'm going to turn things back over to Rena in a moment. There's going to be an opportunity for Q&A at some point. We're going to hear much more of Rena's wonderful, inspiring, and heart-opening music. I want to say, before I hand things back to you, Rena, I want to publicly say, because I've said this to you, how fortunate we are to have you on the MOSH leadership team. That I look at you as a wise elder spirit in a young body. And which is exactly the kind of leadership that we need here at MOSH. Besides the fact that you bring down the medium age by a lot, the fact that I can go away and hear Stevie Wonder singing in my voice. Don't you wonder about a thing? Don't you worry about a thing, Mama? And I don't worry about anything when you or Deb Kolodny are in leadership positions here at MOSH. And so I thank you for being you. I thank you for saying yes to the opportunity to get to know all these wonderful MOShniks, and then taking your time to get to learn about who we are and how we do things here, and now fitting in so beautifully. So without further ado, everybody, please welcome Rena Branson.
Thank you, Rabbi Mark. I'm excited to share a song with you before we go into our Q&A time. This is called We Are Liberation, and I'm going to paste the lyrics in the chat in case you feel inclined to join in with me. This is on my latest album. It's the last track. And I'll say I wrote this in 2021 during the Omicron variant's first plowing through, and I was feeling pretty discouraged and a little lonely, and I was just imagining like this outpouring into the street, people together, people dancing, people singing, and this image is really feeling tender in my heart in this moment. There's so much fear in the streets, and I just wanna invoke through this song a vision of people singing and dancing in the street, and that being safe for everyone. May it be so. Come, let's dance in the streets. We are liberation. We're gonna sing till everyone's free. We are liberation, and in the light of our joy, all the empires will crumble. And in the light of our joy, all the prison walls will tumble. And in the light of our love, we will let the tears flow. And in the light of our love, we will heal. Come, let's nap in our sheets. We are liberation. We're gonna rest till everyone's free. We are liberation, and in the light of our ease, all the empires will crumble. And in the light of our ease, all the border walls will tumble. And in the light of our love, we will let the tears flow. And in the light of our love, we will heal. Or zaru ala tzadik, ule yisrael ev simcha. Or zaru ala tzadik, ule yisrael ev simcha. Or zaru la tzadik, ule yisrael ev simcha. Nay, 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 nay. Ay, 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 nay, 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 nay. Ay, ay, nay. Ay, ay, ay. Come, let's dance in the streets. We are liberation. We're gonna sing till everyone's free. We are liberation, and in the light of our joy, all the empires will crumble. And in the light of our joy, all the prison walls will tumble. And in the light of our love, we will let the tears flow. And in the light of our love, we will heal. Can you hear Ratzon? May it be so.
So, Rena, may I ask you a question?
Go right ahead. That's what we're here for.
Great. So I'm going to kind of interview Rena for a bit, and then there'll be more music, and then we're going to open up the floor. And if you have any questions that you'd like to ask Rena, sometimes it works really well for you to put that into the chat as a private message to me, because I know that I'm not going to be asking all the questions that you might be asking. So first, I was tempted to ask you about this song and how it came to be, but I'd like to start from the beginning. Who are you? Like, where are you from? Where did you grow up? What were you interested? When did you first know that there was music flowing through you, and what did you do about it at that time? Take us on a little journey of your life as well. Really, I'm asking as a life as a Clay Kodesh, but uh, let's start with the Tachlis stuff.
Yeah, thank you. So I grew up in Manhattan, in South Harlem. That's what we called it at the time. Now it's sort of been like absorbed into Morningside Heights. For folks who are familiar with the New York City area, Upper Manhattan. And I grew up in a 21-story apartment building in a complex of 6 buildings, all I will say trick-or-treating on Halloween was pretty epic because we would go door to door, 12 apartments each floor, 6 buildings, 21 stories. And I grew up with a single mom, and I spent a lot of time reading and playing violin in my bedroom because my mom was a little nervous about me playing outside unattended, and I'm very amazed by what she did as a single parent working full time. But she couldn't always accompany me outside. And so I think my foundation as a musician was really in those years, just like entertaining myself creatively as an only child in my bedroom. And yeah, I was 4 years old when she had sat me down and told me it was time to pick an instrument. She herself had been a professional French horn player, and then a public school teacher, and now is a psychologist. And yeah, she was always very encouraging. She saw music as a language that she wanted me to learn when my brain was as plastic and young as possible. And we also, she played lots of music in our house. We would listen to the Beatles and Ali Farka Touré, he was a wonderful kora player from Mali, and Buena Vista Social Club, music from around the world, as well as some pretty near and dear classic rock from the US. And yeah, it was just sort of like the water that I was swimming in. And then we would go to synagogue occasionally on Friday night and on Shabbat morning, but always on the high holidays. And really that was where I sang. At home I would play violin. I was never part of a chorus or an a cappella group or anything like that. I didn't really think of myself as a singer, to be honest, until after college, I started going to Kabbalat Shabbat services every single Friday in my first year out of school, and it really became like a spiritual home for me.
Where was that?
And I would often go to different minyanim in Brooklyn. I was living in Brooklyn during that year. I was doing a fellowship called Avodah, which is a young adult program. Seems like many of you are familiar. You live communally with a group of other young adult Jews, and everyone gets placed to work at a different nonprofit or public school. So I was working at Footsteps. This is in New York, which is an organization for people who grew up ultra-Orthodox and are on their own derech, on their own path, finding their way outside of, the kinds of expectations, religious expectations that their families had expected of them as they were growing up. And it was interesting because as they were on their way out, so to speak, I was like more and more on my way into Jewish ritual practice, and I found a lot of what they were leaving behind to be very appealing, even though, of course, it also came with a lot of limitations and difficulty in their particular circumstances. I minyan hopped all over Brooklyn that year. Shir Hamalot is a particularly special community in my heart, monthly Kabbalat Shabbat and potluck. I was 22 and I just was drinking it all in. And people started, I would just go and I would try to find what page we were on, and I didn't know a lot of the tunes, and I just kept showing up, and people started to comment on my voice. Like, they would tell me at the potluck, like, oh, it's so nice to sit near you and like get to sing with you. And I was like, really? And then like one day I was brave enough to lead Kiddush. And then like gradually over time I was emboldened to start leading. And it was really in 2019 when I was studying at the Hadar Institute in New York. It's a Jewish studies immersive program that I started composing melodies for Jewish liturgy. And then I wound up applying and being accepted to the Rising Song Institute had which is a really wonderful organization based in Philly, run by Joey Weisenberg. It's kind of a branch of Hadar. They, for 1 year and 1 year only, ran a full-time Jewish music residency, and I was blessed to get in for that year before COVID hit, and they wound up not continuing the program after that. So, I moved to Philadelphia, and I did this full-time Jewish music program, and I think having such a beloved mentor figure, Joey Weisenberg, really believe in me and believe in my composition ability and just encourage me. It helped me start to take myself and my own art more seriously. And also the reality was when COVID hit, we couldn't sing together in person anymore in our little cohort. And so the focus of the residency shifted much more towards independent composition. And that was where I wound up writing almost all of my first album. So it was a silver lining in a very difficult time. And I feel incredibly grateful for that year. It really set me on the path that I am on now, and that led me to Mosh.
Yeah, thanks for that travelogue of you. Curious, as part of that cohort, were there other people whose names we might know, or some of us might be familiar with, who we might find singing on some of Joey's songs that have on YouTube videos? And I seem to remember that you were on some of those as well.
Yeah, so that was a 7-person cohort. It was me. Batya Levine is probably the person whose name most people would recognize. Eitan Cantor, Gedalia Penner, Rebecca Goldsmith, Ariel Root-Wolpe, and Sam Teigel. All incredible human beings, just the best. And many of them also have music out in the world as well.
So I'm actually going to underscore one of the names that you just mentioned. Although maybe I should let you tell the story because it's going to include Batya Levine's name. Like, how did you find your way to Mosh?
Batya Levine sent me an email, forwarded me an email from Rabbi Mark saying, "Are you interested in this role? I can't do it, but I thought of you." And I was like, yes, I would love to meet this amazingly special, unique sounding community. And I mean, katonti, like I feel very like humbled imagining that I could substitute for this rabbi who seems amazing, but I'm not a substitute. I just bring my own flavor when there is the space to do so. And yeah, we had a call that was just so encouraging and sweet, and I really felt a deep fit in my bones, and here we are.
Yeah, so I don't remember how I got in touch with Batya Levine. I mean, I wrote to her, or how I got her email, but as all of you know, I've been looking for other leaders who are outside of the Mosh family to substitute for me when I want to, take a vacation, a Shabbos off once in a while. And so through Batya said, well, I'm not available, I'm too busy, but why don't you get in touch with Rena Branson? Last night I had an aha moment where I'm no longer going to be using the word substituting for me. right? One of my, and I know you picked this up from the very beginning, Rena, was that I didn't want someone to come in and try to be me and do what I do. I wanted you to come to bring your neshama, your style, your sense of kedusha, of your holiness, in a way that only and you can, in your uniqueness. And you like totally got that, which was again so liberating for me. So no more use of the word substituting for me. You are part of the MOSH leadership team, as well as Rabbi Deb Kolodny is as well. And I'm so excited about that because, again, you get it. You try to describe to people what MOSH is. It's impossible unless you come, right? And you did that, right? You were really, really interested. And you didn't want to lead until you really felt that you knew the community, and you kind of like understood what we were all about. So I really kol hakavod to you. So Rena, your music, do you consider it Jewish music? Are you a Jewish musician? How would you how do you identify yourself and your music?
Thank you for this question. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Like, I'm Jewish and I'm a musician. So my music is Jewish music because it comes out of me. But, some of my music is more explicitly connected to Jewish sources, both textually and in terms of the melodic modes that it's composed in. And some of my music is really like, honestly, more kind of like animist or pagan, just being real. Like, I have a deep reverence for the earth in a way that I think can be, there's like Jewish theology there are many different Jewish theologies, and I feel like panentheism, this sort of like neo-Hasidic way of viewing like the spark of the divine is in everything, resonates deeply. But I'm not afraid to be directly really excited about a tree and like talking to a tree spirit, which is like borderline not so Jewish, like we're supposed to like be directly in communication with the divine, not with so much like these elements of creation. Thanks for putting that word in the chat, panentheism. Yeah, so I think I bring lots of different spiritual flavors. My connection to the Jewish ancestral tradition is very strong and very deep and present, and I think, palpable in a lot of my music. And also, I feel that this time on our planet really is calling us to be in a more kind of collective consciousness and understanding that, our fate is shared and with all beings, with all life on this planet, and to kind of, to start to melt down these like illusions of separation and me and mine and you and yours and them and us and all of this, like, of course, being aware that we still live in a world where there's vast inequality and that based on identity, people have very different life experiences and all of this, like honoring that, and also desiring to move towards a future where we're not so focused on what makes us different from each other, because we really all got to work together to continue to sustain life on this planet. So I think my music also speaks to that kind of universal consciousness and love as well.
Yeah, Amen v'Amen. You talking about the earth. Reb Zalman of blessed memory certainly was a firm believer in, he sensed the Gaia consciousness, the consciousness that all of life is woven together, and there's our future depends upon the future of all of nature, and that we're all woven together. So if for those of you who are not familiar with that word that that Rena used, panentheism, perhaps the line from Zohar, Mimale kol olmim fasovev kol olmim, that the divinity surrounds all creation and it infuses all of creation. So there's nothing but God which of course is a Hasidic notion of what is. So I want to actually open up this a little bit more, Rena, and we didn't talk about me asking you this question. Excuse me, I'm going to stop my audio as soon as I can and stop coughing. Which is, those of us who just came back from Ohala had the opportunity to hear Rabbi Amichai Lalevi speak. And Rabbi Amichai is the spiritual leader and founder of the Lab Shul, which one of the it's the Lab Shul. God, one of the things that it says is God optional, right? And he explained, he'd always wondered what he meant by that, and I was pleased to know that the reason why they used that from the very beginning was for people to know that listen, we know that we all have trouble with the G word, and that some of us have been damaged by the G word throughout our lives, and so the use of the word God can sometimes set people off, right? So there's no litmus test about belief in God, sensing God, whatever, but let's all come from this greater sense that we're all together. We're all in this together, as Reb Zalman would say. The way to get together is together. So this is all a roundabout way of asking you this question, which is, what is, you're nodding, so maybe you know what's coming. Can you share with us a little bit about your theology? And when you say God, I mean, if you say God, what you mean by it, other names for divinity that you might use that you feel closer to. And I'm asking the question because I think people know about me by the way I lead and what my teachings have been, and that we're so grounded. So I just want to give you an opportunity to share with us some of your kishkis in that way.
Yeah, thank you so much. I love to talk about this, and I also love to hear other people's answers to this. It's like maybe my favorite conversation. So I'm so glad. And I will start by saying that this is an evolving, emergent relationship for me. My relationship with the divine, and how I would put that into words is definitely continuing to evolve. So for this moment, I will say, I feel very connected to Ein Sof, without end, which actually I think I'm going to sing a song for you all that has that name for God in it. Without end. What a beautiful name for the divine. I also really feel connected to Harachaman, the compassionate one, with Rechem being encompassed in that name. Rechem is womb. Rachamim is compassion. I find that incredibly beautiful in the Hebrew, and a teacher once shared with me that how he understood that. This is Rav Mike Foyer, who I studied with at Pardes in Jerusalem. That for him, what that means is that compassion, rachamim, is creating space for another to grow. I think space for ourselves also, which, a womb offers that space for another to grow. I find that incredibly moving. And also the four-letter tetragrammaton, the Yod-He Vav-He name for God that is understood to be unpronounceable. I find that really moving just in and of itself, that we have a name for God that is unpronounceable, because we're putting what is so ineffable into language. We can't even pronounce it. And if you look at that four-letter name, you can kind of anagram the letters to Haya, was, Hoveh, is, and Yihiyeh, will be. So we have is, was, and will be all encompassed in this unpronounceable, eternal, ineffable name. And I find that incredibly beautiful too, just this sense of like eternal presence, eternal being, that we are all facets of this eternal being, that each of what we're subjectively experiencing as an individual life path and soul journey is just like all different kind of tentacles or limbs of this one unfolding being that is, was, and will be. I take a lot of comfort in that because, as you all can see, things on Earth right now are pretty rocky, and there's something that brings me deep comfort about this notion that we're all participating in and expressions of something so much more vast than what we can perceive in the limitations of our perception and in the limitations of the time scale of one human lifetime. And I really want to believe that, yeah, what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, and we're going to have Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day in a few days, that the moral arc of the universe is long, but it bends towards justice. I really want to believe that. And it helps me to believe in that when I remember that this lifetime that I'm living is so tiny in the scope of even just geological time on the earth, let alone like the time scale of the whole cosmos of is, was, will be Hashem's unpronounceable, ineffable, eternal name. So I didn't plan any of that, but that's what came out in that moment. Ask
Beautiful.
me again another time.
Thank you, Rita. I know if I asked you that question 5 minutes from now, you would answer totally differently because that's the way that I would answer. I want to ask you a follow-up question to that hopefully will be a portal into your next song, which is... That's who you are. That's what you sense, the nature of what we call divinity. Hu asher hu haya, hu hoveh, hu yehiyeh, the one who was, is, and will be. Where? So we're in the big shopping mall of life, and you are here. So you, Rena Branson, as Klei Kodesh, as a vessel for what you just described, what happens, what's the process of bringing a world, of birthing? I'm going to play on your rachamim, your rechem, your womb teaching. How do you sense that? Does it work differently with every song? It depends? Or are there times when it just arrives full force and as if a gift from the Holy Blessed One?
Yeah, thank you so much. It really varies, I will say. There are times when I wake up in the morning with a song, and my phone is full of voice memos that are it just has the date and it says wake up tune, and it's just like me with my groggy, froggy morning voice being like, with whatever song has arrived in my sleep. But a lot of them are really active prayers that I am speaking out into the universe. Like, there are a couple of songs on this last album that I released that I wrote in rivers in Costa Rica on Baruca land after October 7th, when I had been in Jerusalem on a fellowship, and the fellowship, it's called Dorot, they wound up like doing this emergency call with us and being like, we're going to give you all the funding for the year and we want you to leave as soon as possible. Like, go anywhere else in the world. Use your judgment, but like leave. And I wound up deciding to go to Costa Rica because I'd been planning to be abroad for a year and I speak Spanish, and I was just like, let me go to what feels like the opposite of a war zone right now. Costa Rica doesn't even have a military. And yeah, there were a few songs that came through for this album that were just me standing in a river praying and like asking for trauma to be cleansed from my body and from my being and from my field and from all of humanity and all of the ancestral burdens that have been passed down and unhealed wounds, to just like really release that and allow that to be composted. So that's a few of the songs on that album came out that way. And then there's also been some songs that I just had a piece of Jewish liturgy that I really wanted a new tune for. And I just sat down and kind of improvised singing in different flavors, and whatever version I liked best is what stuck, and I developed it more, and that's how the song came. There have also been a few explicit song commissions that I've done where people have actually asked me to write a song. The title track of my last album, In Doing and in Dreaming, I wrote for my dear friend Margot Siegel, who was a co-founder of a queer Jewish chicken farm. It was called Linkeflegal, which means left wing in Yiddish. When they were closing, they asked me if I could write a song to kind of help usher them through that transition. And this song, In Doing and in Dreaming, which I think I'll share with you as well, is what came through, which is really just a reminder that we don't even get to see the full extent of the ripple effects of our actions. And we go around feeling like we're not doing enough and we're not enough, but we don't even know the impact that we are making. Again, zooming out on this cosmic scale of time where we are not even able to perceive our own contribution. So yeah, that's a reminder I feel like I need every day. A lot of my songs are reminders that I feel like I need every day, and probably other people do too.
So what do you think? A good time for another song?
Yeah, let's do it. I think I'm going to play In Doing and in Dreaming because that one just came through. So let me grab
Rena's
the lyrics.
looking to copy and paste the lyrics into the chat. For those of you who have not yet seen the announcement of the dates and the registration for the Mosh Retreat, April 30th or May 1st through May 3rd, Rena's going to be joining us.
Woohoo!
And so I'm so excited about that.
All right.
Oh, and Flip will be there back again, our extraordinary fiddler from last year, Joe Kessler.
I can't wait, truly. I'm so excited to meet many of you folks in person. All right, here's In Doing and in Dreaming. And I'm going to also actually give this another quick tune just to...
So as Rena is tuning, may I add that, my heart goes out because Bob Weir died this past week. One of my the big three for the Grateful Dead, and which reminded me as you were tuning that one of the most, the best parts of a Grateful Dead concert would be when they would be, they'd be tuning up. Of course, that was only if you had ingested the right materials before coming.
Alibi. I wish I'd gotten to see them play. Really, I'm a little sad. I feel like my soul feels deep resonance with the 60s and 70s. I was not alive, but I'm some part of me was there. All right, here's In Doing and in Dreaming.
Rabbi Mark, we're hearing other music.
Someone's playing maybe my song. Someone's playing my album. Let's see. I will try again. Flower
Thank you, Rena. That's a very Jewish song. The question of what makes are you or what makes one a Jewish artist? Um, would one say that Robert Zimmerman, aka Bob Dylan, is a Jewish artist? I think that is a debate that many people have been having, not just around him, but how about Leonard Cohen? Was he a Jewish artist? Certainly, if you are writing, bringing to life or new musical settings for Jewish ancient texts, that's an easy answer to the question about being a Jewish artist. So maybe the answer is sometimes yes, sometimes no, but I'm always me. I'm still working on the answer to the question myself, which is why I wanted you to answer it. Okay, I think this is a good time, since Rick just raised his hand, to open up for questions. How's that sound, Rena?
That sounds great. And I'm just gonna dive for my water bottle that is on the floor approximately 2.5 feet away from where I'm sitting.
Okay, good. Don't knock your head on the way back up. We'll wait for you so you hear.
All right, I'm with you.
Well, before Rick asks you a question, I just want to welcome everybody. Debbie and Sophie, Mary Rita, you look like you're almost awake. Gail, almost.
Hi,
Mary
Ryan.
Rita was at Ohala. Tali, Esther, Rahmana, Reb Sarah's here, also was at Ohala. Mary, Devorah is barely awake also. Scott and Dana. Debbie, welcome. Deb Cantor, Susan Chaya, Susan Freiban, that's the Susan section of the room. Steve, Marcia, and I forgot your beloved's name there. Steve, am I right? Okay, and Roxanne, Dan. Dan's also probably exhausted. Mary and Dee Dee will ask his question after Rick asks his. And there's Elizabeth too.
Hey, Rena. So good to see you. I'm just curious about your choice of musical instrument. Maybe you could tell us a little more. You're playing. Is it a ukulele?
It is a
Yeah.
ukulele.
So I'm curious what drew you to the ukulele as opposed to the guitar or some other instrument, and tell us a little more about that and how that plays into your musical composition and work.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Rick. So it's not a very deep and profound answer, but it is simply a very user friendly instrument. And having grown up playing the violin, which, God bless my 4-year-old self, very ambitious, very easy instrument to make it sound terrible. Let me tell you. Other instruments have a button you push and the note that you want comes out when you push the button. Violin does not work that way. So, to accompany myself for playing these songs, I really just wanted something that was going to be like pretty easy peasy, and ukulele has done the job. Although I was just telling Rabbi Mark that I am interested in potentially finally starting to learn guitar, which I've wanted to do since I was maybe 16. So I may or may not learn. We'll see.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah. And I think that would probably change your musicality in some way because the guitar just has a whole different sound. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
Dee Dee, what you got?
Rena, great to see you here. So, most of the people in this Zoom room are much closer to being my age than they are to being your age. And one of the things that those of us who are around my age sometimes do is bewail the lack of experience of youth that we have. But the question I want to ask you really goes in the opposite direction. So when I'm sure it's different at other venues, but when you're leading Mosh, for the most part, you're leading services for people old enough to be your parents, if not your grandparents. And my question is, what is it that you offer that we miss? Instead of us talking about the experience that we have that young people don't have, what's the experience you have as a young person, somebody that grew up in a particular era of time that's different? What do we miss? What should we be looking for? What should we be trying to hear when we are with you? What's the quality that you bring that we might not notice if it's not pointed out by you to us?
Wow.
I like easy questions.
This is where I jump in and say, thanks for coming, everybody. Good night.
That's a really, really beautiful question. I'm going to sit with that just for a moment. And yeah, let's just actually hold the silence together for a moment.
And it's fine if you don't want to answer it now. With me, anyway.
Okay, I'm just going to follow the intuitive thread of what is coming and trust that. So I can't speak on behalf of all people around my age to say like what I as a representative of my generation can share or offer with you all. But just speaking as Rena, yeah, I think what I'd like to share in response to this question is less maybe about our respective ages, but more just like what is the message or what are some messages that I desire to share with people who I am in spiritual community with and who I have the privilege and honor to be able to lead in prayer and ritual. So one kind of fundamental belief that I want to share is in the innate goodness of all of creation, including every single human being, and my very, very deep belief that any harm that any human being causes to another human being is an unfolding of harm that they in turn experienced either directly or were handed down through the generations. And to always make that distinction when speaking about other people, to not villainize, to not condemn, but to hold the compassionate, wider awareness that any person causing harm is a person who has experienced harm, and that doesn't excuse anyone's behavior, but just to make the distinction that no human being is a bad human being. That is very important to me. So that's the first thing I'll share. The next is to hold each of our own selves in that light as well, to recognize that anywhere that any one of us individually is struggling, wherever we have patterns playing out in our lives that maybe we've tried to curb but they're still happening, ways that we are not proud of our behavior, that it's all ways that we've learned how to survive the best we can, and we get to try to keep healing and growing and learning, but to always have that deep, deep, deep compassion for ourselves, and also respect and gratitude for the parts of us that have figured out how to survive in these ways, even if it might not be how we would ideally like to choose to be. I think I say this as someone who struggles a lot with self-criticism. For anyone who's into astrology, I'll say I have a ton of Virgo in my chart, and I tend towards perfectionism. So yeah, anything that's hard for us is hard for us likely because of something that was really hard when we were really young, or even like before our lifetime. So to just hold that compassion. Just gonna see if there's anything else that wants to come through in this moment. Yeah, the next is just it's kind of piggybacking on all of that, that I believe very deeply in the human capacity for transformation, and the support ideally that Jewish practice can give, and the structure of the Jewish year cycle and these periods of reflection that we have built in, and teshuvah, return, repentance. Um, yeah, and to really like anything, anywhere. Oh, okay, this connects to age. Anywhere where you're like, oh, I wish that I had done this, it's too late. I just want to invite you to really question that. There are some things that might be true about, but like already at age 33, I'm like, oh, it's too late for me to learn guitar. That's absurd, you know? And that would also be true if I were 73 years old. Like, it's never too late to explore something that sparks joy in your heart. So just to encourage us all to give ourselves the permission and really like the chutzpah to do what is calling us to do, because what the heck else are we here on earth doing? Like, we're trying to heal, we're trying to connect, and we're trying to enjoy as well. So that's the last thing I'll say in response to that beautiful question. Thank you, Rev DDK.
Shamati, and thank you.
Yeah, I want to follow up on your question, DDK, and your answer, Rena, which is, I think, are both age related. Number one is, what do you find in us that's so attractive? Meaning, of course, I had to phrase it that way.
I love it.
What is it about our community that attracts you to lead, to serve as a Klei Kodesh for us and with us? And do you have any Eitzah? Do you have any advice? I mean, why we have not been able to attract, or whether we can be able to attract younger people to come who are on a spiritual journey? Clearly, there's answers like we don't have a religious school, so we're not going to have families. But there are lots of people who are on a spiritual quest and might find a home with us. So those are actually two very different questions I'm throwing at you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, to answer the first one, I'll say you are just such a dear, loving, welcoming, warm, Hamish, sweet community. Just delicious, really. Like, from the first service I came to, I was like, oh my gosh, I felt so embraced, especially the breakthrough rooms that you have where people have the chance to offer each other blessings and you get to ask for the blessing you want, and everyone just with such real like gravitas witnessing each other and offering each other blessings and receiving blessings. So beautiful and so unique and precious. And also the playfulness and the spunkiness, and the fact that you use Grateful Dead tunes and have an animal parade during Adon Olam, and people are holding up like their stuffed animals and their actual living animal friends and plants and whatever else happens to be near the computer to lift up and wave. It's so endearing and charming and beautiful and sweet. And it's also just so clear how much love people in this community have for each other, from all across the world, connecting in over Zoom. So it's very inspiring. I also want to just acknowledge there are some people on the call for whom this might be their first Mosh event. So welcome. Glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you. And just to invite those of you who are not on our mailing list, who might be here for the first time, if you would like to be on our mailing list, send me a private chat with your full name and email address, and we're more than delighted to welcome you to any other future Mosh gatherings.
Yeah. And then as far as the second part of your question of like why aren't more young people coming to Mosh already now? I think it's really just a relational thing where it's like young people bring each other to things. So, you know, I think it can be hard when there's a community that is already established, that is already of a certain generation, to expand into another one is just a challenge. And I think also there's the reality that like the culture of Mosh and like the like repertoire of tunes and it is of a different generation. I happen to be someone, as I said before, who's like, I feel like I was born in the 60s, even though I was born in 1992. So I have a resonance there. I think it might honestly be because of I went to a Quaker hippie, very hippy dippy summer camp when I was a child. And it was a lot of like Jai Guru Deva singing the Beatles under trees, like that. So I feel very at home in Mosh, but that's just not everyone's experience in my generation. And so, yeah, I think that is just a reality. But I'm going to keep inviting folks to come because, you know, as I'm leading more too, it's nice to have more of my peers in the room.
Yay. Dana.
Hi, Rena. I'm so excited that you're in leadership with us. I was wondering about Ahava Rabbah. Like, is there like what was going on and like, or what inspired you? Because that song, I love that song. And it's really comforting.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so my song Ahava Rabbah, for those who don't know, the English words are love is not a receding horizon we reach for. Love is the ground on which we lay. Worthiness is not a mountaintop we strive toward. It is the field in which we play. I mean, it's really just what I already shared about being a perfectionist who can be super hard on myself and how a lot of my music is reminders that I myself need. Sorry, my computer is making all kinds of sounds for some reason. Yeah, it's like that is just a reminder that I need. I don't know if there's anyone here who's into the Enneagram, but I'm into astrology and the Enneagram, every kind of different human system of thought to try to understand ourselves and each other. I'm like very compelled by. And in the Enneagram, I'm a 2, which is the helper. And yeah, the helper type, and I think, you know, whether or not people are familiar with the Enneagram, if there's anyone here who identifies as a helper, you know, like it can be easy to fall into the kind of mentality that we need to be useful to others in order to be cared for. And it's not true. And this Jewish liturgy, Ahava Rabbah, this reminder that divine love is this vast, abundant love that surrounds us always, is really helpful and grounding for me when I sometimes forget and get lost.
Thank you, Rena. I'm going to call on Rahmana to bring us home, Khatima, to our questions, and then hand it back to you for a final song or two, and then to mention what's coming up at Mosh in the coming days and weeks. Rahmana?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not sure if it's a function of my age or if it's just a particular propensity, but I find the ancestors very close and very available, and sometimes kind of inviting me into dialogue. And because of your, well, not exactly shouldering, but dancing with this inheritance, I feel like you already have connection with ancestors and are not afraid of it. So I would love to have you speak about that in any way you feel to. Thanks.
Thank you, Rahmana. You all are asking the best questions. This is so juicy. I love my ancestors so much. I talk to them all the time. They talk to me all the time. They give me advice. They tell me, don't do that. What the heck are you doing? Do not do that. They tell me, go for it. Yes. They're just like in my ear all day. And I feel so grateful. I feel so grateful. And I mean, it's been an intentional cultivation of awareness for me. Like I've been on this path of like opening up my perception and tuning into that kind of guidance for a few years now. And I'll say it's a lot easier for me to be connected in that way now that I live in a much more rural environment and I'm outside more. I think like growing up in Manhattan with the subway elevated tracks right next to my apartment every 5 minutes, ba bum ba bum ba bum, like there wasn't a lot of space for that kind of deep listening. So I feel deep gratitude for the relationships that I've been cultivating with my ancestors, especially these last couple of years, and they're very present in the music. And often, like, when I light Shabbat candles or make Kiddush, like, I will intentionally pause and invite them to come draw near around me and join me in the ritual. And I feel just their naches, their pride and their delight. And shout out to all of our ancestors. Really, like, thank you for every single choice that you made, every sacrifice, everything you did, even the things you regret, all of it contributed to bringing us to this moment where we are all alive here and where we get to gather together. And what an honor. Thank you.
Amen v'amen, Rena. There's a question that you asked me to ask you, and I am going to ask it, which hopefully then will lead into a final song or two. I do want to mention a couple of things. First of all, of course, thank you all so much for being here this evening and for lending your sacred presence to this wonderful opportunity to get to know Rena. In the chat, I just put the link for our retreat. If you haven't seen it yet, but it will be in every email that goes out from now until sometime in April when registration will end. If you want to be on our mailing list, go to MOShdc.org and you'll find our contact information there to fill out, and you can put your name in there, an email address, and anything you'd like to tell us about yourself. Zahu, today is Wednesday, and so next Wednesday and the following Wednesday, yet another holy neshama will be joining us to teach for 2 weeks, and that is Rabbi Dr. Chava Bailey. And for those of you who have had the opportunity to meet Chava, she is not just a joy, but a very, very deep and funny person. And what she's going to be teaching us is how to write midrash. So we're going to go on a collective journey together in which each of us will have an opportunity to write our own midrash or midrashim. And so that should be very, very exciting and very fun too, most important. What's today? Today's Wednesday, Prayerful Gathering tomorrow at 6 o'clock. And I think you're actually leading that, Rena, tomorrow, are you?
I don't think you signed me up to it, but I would be delighted to if it aligns for you.
Well, stay on afterwards and we'll check our
Great.
calendars. But that's something else that Rena's going to be doing on occasion on a Thursday, which is leading our Prayerful Gatherings. And Chava Bailey led it last night when I was at Ohala. So just a wonderfully expanding leadership team here at Moshe. And then, of course, we'll all be together Shabbos morning. So, Rena, if there was something that, a message that you would hope we would take with us from tonight, well, what might that be?
I really think I answered this when I answered Reb DDK's question, but let's just see, since you asked it, maybe the ancestors have another idea of something I could share with you all to take home with you.
Well, another question I could ask is of everyone, like, what are you taking home with you tonight?
I would
you
love
can't
to
say
hear.
Rena because she's in Asheville, North Carolina. She's probably way too far away from any of you.
I
So we
would
can
love to hear people's voices. Yeah, if you want
Yeah,
to share
maybe
something you're
you
taking.
already answered it. Okay. So if you want to put in the chat something you're taking away from this evening, lovely, intimate, joyous, musical, deep evening with our friend Rena, put it in the chat. Consider these gifts for her and for us all. So let's give that a moment or two. You can actually start singing, Rena, if you want to. Warmth. Well, you see, Rena has a scarf on, so she's warm.
You belong here on this earth. You belong here in this body. You belong here on this earth. You belong here in this body. You are not broken. You're not bad. You're the ocean. You're the sky. You are the land. We are all yearning to live the best we can. And we are all fingers of the same hand. We are all fingers of the same hand. You belong here on this earth. You belong here in this body. You belong here on this earth. You belong here in this body. You are not broken. You're not bad. You're the ocean, you're the sky, you are the land. We are all yearning to live the best we can. And we are all fingers of the same hand. We are all fingers of the same hand. I and I, we are all yearning to live the best we can. And we are all fingers of the same hand. We are all fingers of the same hand.
Rena, thank you so much. Let me now reveal the real reason why I always knew that you would be a wonderful addition to our leadership team. Because to be on the leadership team, you have to be able to screen share and continue playing and or put something in the chat while you continue playing your ukulele and singing your song. And I don't know if Scott's still here. Scott will attest that on Shabbos, I grow 2 more arms because he has sat next to me. So thank you all so much. Laila Tov, and see you everybody soon.
See See you soon. I'll keep singing you out. Good night, everybody. It's so good to be with you. Lila Tov. Good night, Rick.
Good night, Rick. And I hope we
Bye,
passed the
Elizabeth.
audition. Hi, Elizabeth. You made it.
Yay!
Yay, Rena.
Yay!
Beautiful. And it was a nice turnout, too.
Yeah, that was so sweet. Oh my God, I loved people's questions.
Yeah,
So
they were
good.
really great. um, a bunch of people tend to watch the videos too, and so I will.
Great.
I'll send you the link for it, or you are on a mailing list, right? You get our emails.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the link will be in there in Friday mornings, unless you want it sooner, in Friday morning's email. Oh, so we were going to look at the calendar.
Yeah, did you want me to do Mosh tomorrow? I'm down
Oh,
for the 22nd, but I'm happy to do tomorrow as well.
No, you know what? I'll do tomorrow.
Okay.
Are you around tomorrow, just in case? You heard me coughing. I've been having coughing bouts. For 15 minutes, I can probably hold it together. So, yeah, I think I'll do it since I didn't do it on Tuesday, and I didn't do it last Thursday. So, yeah, I'll do it, and then you do it next Thursday.
Okay, yeah, and
Great.
if you just let me know by 5, that should be fine.
Terrific. Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Alrighty. And I don't know if it was on the stream of the emails how much I was going to pay you for tonight. It was $150 that we agreed on.
Oh, sure, that's great.
Oh, okay, great. And then I already owe you for last week, so I'll get a check out soon.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you. Yay.
Yay! Lila Toe.
Amber Rena.
Yes, always. I go into the grocery store. Actually, let me show you really fast. I go into the grocery store and the airport and any other public location with bad lighting wearing these orange glasses that help turn everything amber for me. It's like so much more relaxing for my brain than the like
Sure.
harsh lighting.
Yeah, well, it goes so good with your skin color too, and your hair color. All right, thank you, my holy friend. Much appreciated. To be continued.
Lila Tov, rest well.
Thank
Refuah
you.
Shlema with the cough.
Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah.
it. All righty.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.